We are awakening together. This is our weekly gathering we hold online. For more information, visit our website, awakening-together.org. We'd love to see you there.
Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome everyone to the Sunday gathering here at Awakening Together, wherever you are. This is the time that the members and friends greet each other, so I'm going to say hello to everyone, wherever you are, from all parts of the world, the planet, and not the planet. And we can start with our opening song and greet each other on the chat. Okay. Once again, hello, everybody. And I am Reverend Billy, and I'm going to read our statement of purpose. We are assembly of equals, joined in common purpose, awakening to one true self. With an appearance of many faiths, many cultures, and many symbols, we seek to discern one truth and rest in its embrace. And rest in its embrace. Okay. We also have 5 core values, and that I am going to, and they're all tremendous. And the one that resonated with me was core value number 2, with what I want to deliver today. And it reads as this. Core value number 2. We realize everyone is equal and no one has been given spiritual intuition. That is an authority over the spiritual intuition of others. We live this value by listening to each other, respecting each other, and allowing each one to be where they are. Okay. And now, before we begin, we have announcements to make. And now we're going to have my opening song, I guess. So, Marisol, could you please? Yes, thank you. Thanks, Marisol. Well, I woke up today and completely felt like I stole myself away from who I am. I mean, really taking myself out. So I'm on my journey back. So in linear time, but it's probably just the moment. Well, anyway, let's just join me in prayer. And Father, what are you making today? I've lost my way for a brief moment. I want to invite you in the presence of the Holy Spirit to enter in, to be in charge of all my thoughts, my feelings, and words, that I may experience my true nature, to handle the blocks that prevent me from experiencing that in a kindness and gentle way of an I don't know mind, a mind that has completely surrendered, that is fresh as the morning dew. And I have no idea what you're going to do with this morning dew today. So I'm totally giving it to you. And you be in charge of my words. Thank you. Amen. So, today, I've asked Joe Schmitz to, and he's a layman. He's not a minister, so he's a layman in our group. And in order for us to adhere to the associating principles of being a Sunday gathering online, a daily reader is important, just like greeting ourselves in the before we start the gathering, and greeting ourselves at the end of my homily. So I'm going to invite Joe in, who I trust totally, and this is the short version of what I'm going to be talking about. And Joe, I'm turning it over to you.
Thank you, Reverend Billy. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you all this morning. This is a poem, a Rumi poem, correct? The title of this poem is I Have No Idea. I have no idea. All day I think about it, then at night I say it. Where did I come from, and what am I supposed to be doing? My soul is from elsewhere, I'm sure of that, and I intend to end up there. This drunkenness began in some other tavern. When I get back around to that place, I'll be completely sober. Meanwhile, I'm like a bird from another continent, sitting in this aviary. The day is coming when I fly off. But who is it now in my ear? Who hears my voice? Who says words with my mouth? Who looks out with my eyes? What is the soul? I cannot stop asking. If I could taste one sip of an answer, if I could taste one sip of an answer, I could break out of this prison for drunks. If I could taste one sip of an answer, I could break out of this prison for drunks. I didn't come here of my own accord, and I can't leave that way. Whoever brought me here will have to take me home. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. You know, I read that, and then I gathered all my stuff, what I wanted to talk about. And that was like a mind tripping. It's what I feel like this morning. I feel like I confiscated my true nature. And who is that in my ears and my words and the plea for freedom, from my soul and my human, my person, the plea for freedom. You can look at this reading and it could be a plea for the soul, like, hey, what are you doing to yourself? How come you don't play by the rules? Why do you make it so difficult? And it's like this poem is like, has been the underlying theme of of who am I? And not going deep enough to and spend time with and tolerate, you know, the assignments that are given to us in every moment. Every moment, we have everything we need to remind us who we are, you know, to get back home, to experience our true nature, you know, and, you know, we all know that there's a surrender process going on, and most of us got here through A Course in Miracles, and, you know, there's always been this underlying theme, no matter where no matter what I'm reading, it's like, it's starting to dissipate now, but, you know, my soul is from elsewhere. I'm sure of that. And I intend to end up there, you know, and, you know, I mean, there's so many levels to read this from what platform. There's, and I don't want to do that today because I did that last time and it took up the whole, all my minutes. So, I just want to glance over it real quick that, the day is coming that I fly off, you know, that I have the courage to go in, you know, the future. But it was all about time. It was about time and the tavern and, you know, I'm going to be better the next time I go to the tavern, and I'm going to be better when this assignment shows up again. The people might be different, you know, my surrender might be different. I might be ready to surrender all of me. You know, all these little things that I tell myself, and, you know, and it's all well and good, but, that we're all learning how to observe. And then we've made a separate observer now, you know, that observes. I caught myself doing this. And, and I'm going to read my transcript from Mooji. I'm going to be acting like Mooji because I think he describes it pretty well of not just letting go of the situation and help to see it differently and see it through the Christ mind, the Buddha consciousness, whatever, the Tao. You know, we have so many things that everything says the same thing when we're in that oneness of self, experiencing the love that we have in our heart. You know, that's where it's at. You know, to have the fullness that goes on, you know, that satisfies, that there's a satisfaction, there's a satisfying feeling, you know, when my heart's full of love. You know, it puts out the fire, that achy feeling that there's something missing, that I'm doing something wrong, that I'm disconnected. You know, and all this comes and goes, but there's still something that's just always remains, you know. And we get to learn in this room and in this platform how to focus on what remains. So I'm going to read this little transcript and of Mooji, and it's Mooji. It's not Reverend Billy. So I am plagiarizing. So it goes like this. My emphasis is not about letting go. It's not only about letting go. You can let go of everything. and still keep the person who would just start picking up new things. As the final thing, you've let go of everything. But you're still standing. So we go one step further. One more different step. That even the one who is apparently letting go of everything, which is the favorite hanging out place for consciousness in its expression of life, it hangs out in the one who is the doer of actions and the thinker of thoughts. The me, the person. So then, this one who is giving up and is doing all this giving up, this one who has never properly been suspected as the culprit. It's the one that says, I want to be free. This one. This is the favorite idea you have of yourself. I've given up everything. I've been practicing meditation for 35 years, Mooji. Yeah, and I'm still not free. So watch it now. There is an awareness here. Watch it. The truthful tenant of this house, let's call it this crudely. In the space of this awareness, this idea of you as the seeker is born. It is also the offspring of awareness. The only way you can go beyond this is to recognize and keep recognizing that this one also is perceivable. The idea you have of who you are is suffering from ideas it has about itself. And this is the crux, because when it comes down to this one, it has to disappear. So there's nothing in this world to challenge or to conquer or to transcend other than the influence of the ego and mind. Everything is here. All my neighbors, my relationships with my job, the people in my life, my AA family, my awakening together, everything is here. My financial situation, everything lives here. My neighbors, my gods, my demons, my money problems, my wife. Everybody lives here. They're all here. The ideas of who I am. Let go of the traffic cop and let the mind run. Let it run. Remain detached like you're witnessing. Now hold that space. You're witnessing The witnessing never gets involved in the scene. The moment you get involved in the scene, you become part of the scene. Just keep witnessing. And eventually, a vacuous, pondering, subtle movement opens up like a portal. During this, a quiet surrender that basks in the vastness of its own light of a causeless silence. Like a star in the Milky Way. There are no senses to feel this. There's to see it. We're in that ultimate invisibleness of just expansiveness. A pondering that quietly finds its path to the palace of nowhere. Now, this is where I give it to Thomas Merton. You know, Thomas Merton has, and I'm going to be doing a lot of Thomas Merton in the beginning of my show on every other Wednesday, the first and third Wednesday of the month. You know, because I'm enamored with him. I mean, with what his, you know, we all have the same map, but we all have different terrain to navigate. And his was navigating to a church, you know, a Franciscan monk, you know, and through contemplation, and in the 50s and 60s, and how far he had gone on his path to the palace of nowhere. You know, this path that we become the movement where we cease to understand ourselves in terms which we are accustomed to understanding ourselves. We cease to understand ourselves in the terms which we are accustomed to understanding ourselves. That is, all of our customary reference points to ourselves. Our memories about ourselves, our opinions of ourselves, you know, our psychic identities, the conditions that we live by that are so subtle, the schooling that we were taught, the dualistic upbringing of right and wrong and big and tall. And there's an instantaneous moment deprived of all these customary understandings that we are incapable of explaining what we are realizing in that moment of letting go of self, letting go of the person. Not just turning it into a happy dream, letting go of the person. You know, it's hard to let go of the happy dream. You just want to keep the illusion. It just reinforces the illusion. You know, it was much easier for me to get rid of the nightmare, to help me see it differently. You know, because in that nightmare, I got to that place of despair. I got to see what I made and did not want to make it anymore. and I needed help. I needed that invitation. I needed to go through, help me see this differently. I needed the I don't know mind. It's the best it's going to get, the I don't know mind. That we just can't describe it, that we are as pure subjectivity and cannot see what we appear to be as appearance. When the Course told us, you're a child of God, and there was still a little bit of a person there. There was, that I'm the king's kid, and but then there's, the Course always says, but God takes the last step, and this is that last step, that pondering, that space making, that I cannot see what we appear to be as an appearance, as objectivity, of being an object. This became a great exercise for me, not becoming an object, and I just, I recently started doing this a lot, not becoming the object, the phenomenal manifestation, the hidden loop where I forget who I was, where I continually forget who I am on purpose, just so I could ask for a miracle, because I knew how to do it. I knew how to be a miracle maker. And I didn't know that I was still keeping the self going. My sponsor in AA used to tell me, he says, Billy, I can go into that consciousness, and this is like 28 years ago or something. He goes, I can go into that consciousness, but I can't help that many people there. I can help people by 1 foot in and 1 foot out. What he was trying to say is, which I took it as I couldn't go in. I should keep myself out and just be a miracle maker. But, words prevent that from happening. It's the words that, it's the words that like it's not explainable. There's a consciousness. There's a state beyond all states that's just is a state, and all the other states come and go. But this one remains, this changeless reality, like the Course talks about. This changeless reality, Merton now does this differently. In his path, he did it a little differently. And he wrote about he was a contemplator. He lived a contemplated life. He contemplated. It was inside. And he writes it this way. Contemplation is the highest expression of man's intellectual. Okay. Contemplation is the highest expression of man's intellectual and spiritual life. It is a vivid realization of the fact that life and being in us proceed from an invisible, transcendent, and infinitely abundant source. This is like the first introduction of something I can't see, but I can see. You know? I could see through knowing. I could see. I could see through hearing. But I, Billy, could see. You know? Contemplation is above all else the awareness of the reality of that source. It knows the source in a way not known by many that can be explained or accounted for, but with a certainty that goes beyond reason and beyond simple faith. In other words, then, contemplation reaches out to the knowledge and even the experience of the transcendent and inexpressible God. Hence, contemplation is a sudden gift of awareness, an awakening to the real within all that is real, a vivid awareness of infinite being at the roots of our own limited being. I love that line. It is the gift of God who, in his mercy, completes the mysterious and hidden work of creation in us by enlightening our minds and hearts, by awakening us to the awareness that we are words spoken in his one word. And in that creating spirit dwells in us and we in him. You know, we shed light on this, on the true nature of who we are. You know, we shed light on it. That's all we can do. How we are living our lives and how we think we are living our lives, and every now and then we have a surprise from grace, a surprise that grace arises, you know, and you get to see the all in the all. You get to see that to some philosophers that when they say certain things like, why is there something rather than nothing? So who is making the something? And why isn't the all of nothingness, the all that is not of God, in that nothingness, we are, you know, the all that is not of God gives birth to the all that is God as we get it out of the way. So why is there something rather than nothing? You know, you can't argue with it. You know, you can't argue it. The movement from okay, God, I got this. I got it now. I know how to be a good boy. I know how to be a good guy. You know, I know how I'm supposed to learn this, you know, and you know, um, there's there's always a deeper understanding that's beyond the understanding that I used to understand with. But it loses its density. The let go is, you know, um, um, let me see, the let go is from another place. Even the let go, it's not, I'm not letting go. Something else is letting go. There's, I can't explain it. I can give it a shot, of, I wrote it out somewhere because sometimes let me see if I can find it. It's probably over here. Well, I can wing it. I know it, and I know that I know it. And I know it, but the trouble is, it is the I that I know it. And when I try to tell you that what I know, that I know, I can't say it. It's crystal clear until you start to think about it. It's crystal clear until you try to put words in it. You try to put words to what is that is so clear. So this surrendering of self, this the person, the identity, there's Merton says that he does it by recognizing the purity, the love that he has in his own heart. And he recognizes his natural, of what he is and who he is naturally, and it all disappears. I don't know. Does religion say it? Seek thee first the kingdom of heaven. Does the self disappear there? Yeah, probably. That space, that knowingness, that I don't even know if it's a knowingness. It's just a space that occupies the more space, and it has a vacuous effect to it as I'm leaving words and I'm leaving understandings and I'm ceasing to understand the way I understood before. And I'm not coming from that platform of a limited place and returning to that same platform of a limited place. I get to stay in that the noumenal subject where I don't have to create that. Why is there something rather than nothing? Like I can just be. I can be in that observer that observes without observing, that just is engulfed in it is what it is. It's, this, I'm running out of words to describe it. So, and I can't believe I'm finishing on time, which is not a nightmare to my dream. Anyway, I don't know, wherever you are in your path, we all have the same map. It says it in core value 2. And no one knows more than anyone else. It's just, what am I experiencing? I've gravitated to these two teachers right now, and I find the similarities in them. I find out what they're both trying to point me towards, and they can't go any further. But that conscious, that state of watching and what comes and goes in my head, I let it come and go. But I'm stepped back away from that. And the more I get to do that, I get to dissolve the person that has an outcome attached, that has a happy dream attached, that has a nightmare attached, just to, that was my loop, which I said earlier. So the reading that Joe was talking about, I have no idea. I don't know. I did not come here on my own accord. I can't leave that way. Whoever brought me here will have to take me home. You could really get lost in that. It could be talking about life's vital force. It could be talking about, anything. It could be talking about God, spirit. It could be talking about even ego. Ego got me here. Now ego get me out of here. I got to get rid of you. I got to drop you. There's a lot of words to that one word. It's a lot of words to that one word. But there's an inner knowing that echoes in all of us. There's an inner knowing that sits with us, that satisfies that aching heart, that satisfies that finds the fulfillment on the love, that that infinite love arose in for me. Infinite rose. I arose from infinite love for infinite love. It played back on itself. That's who I am. So I'm going to let go of the mic, and right now, we're going to have an open we have another song to hear, and we'll have some contemplation while the song is playing, and we'll have some open sharing after that, like we're doing in church. So, Marisol, could you play my next song? Okay, thank you, Marisol. I do want to remind everyone that the donating link is in the chat. If you feel that donating, if you feel like donating, Marisol has the link there, and this is another time for us to open up the chat if anybody wants to respond to the homily. That would be awesome. Otherwise, I could keep going from this, removing this I am limited character from my dream, and letting everything be as it is, and and awakening from the character and this play of life that I have. Anyway, it's your meeting. It's your. Please raise your hand electronically, or let's see if I can. Well, I may not be able to see everybody. Learned a lot through the characters I experienced in the world. And it wasn't until, a short time ago that I saw that I was creating them. All the little tools, we all got a map. I got different terrain. My surrender is different than everyone else's. And, my surrender is, the freedom from choice. I didn't have a choice. Some surrenders give people more choices. My surrender is, I found a freedom in not having a choice to drink, to drug, not having a choice to not love, not having a choice to do a lot of things, because they all had rabbit holes that I would go down, and I would take them to their limit. So does anyone have anything to say? Surrendering that the personal identity is really tough. It's tough, and it's simple. So we make a separate observer to watch. It's still the self, a witnesser. And if it can be witnessed, you're still standing. Melissa, you're on the phone. Your hand is up.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Sorry, I can't put my video on. I can't put my video on right now. The internet's not the stablest. I want to appreciate you and your homily. It was just wonderful, and it spoke to my heart, and I've been really trying to surrender in a big way, and not sure if I'm getting it right necessarily. We've been just going through a lot and trying to work with family member who has an alcoholism issue for like 40 years now, and I'm trying to learn how to do what I can and let go of the anger and of resenting the task I feel I've been given, and resentment, which takes me away from other things. We just have a lot on our plates. It's like we moved into a cabin, and we had to redo the sewer or redo our driveway, and now we have to change out the water pump. So we're always without something. And on top of it all, there's a family member who really is in need. And I realize that this is all a story. And so I'm trying to kind of navigate how to let it all go, and trying to ask for grace to show me the blocks, the desires I'm having, why I want to hang on to all the feelings, why I want to, what I'm still desiring to not let go of. So your homily of letting go of the identity was just right on time for me. And it's just a scene in my mind as a tough one. I've been journaling, and all I can say is grateful to be on the path. I'm grateful to be shown the emotions that are tying my body up in knots. And I'm also grateful to see the addiction with which I hang on to them. So thank you, Billy. Appreciate
Thank you, Melissa. I'd like to address a little bit of that. Like you've chosen this particular member to be your guru, to show you where those places are in you, to show you where that unaffected place resides, to show you, to show you what you don't want to let go of, and like I said, in every moment we have everything we need, because this is coming to us as, because we set it up that way. We're responsible for what we see. We choose the feelings we want to have, and the goals that they would achieve. And it's all the classroom. It's all the classroom to get us to that new place, to get us to that other state where all these surrenders just happen without trying. They just are.
Thanks for that. And I've heard that before. I just heard that the other day, actually. Somebody said, thank him. And I know we're running out of time here, and it could certainly be asked in fellowship, but I would love if you could explain how I can not choose. And I was told to forgive myself for choosing him, and in your words, as a guru. So maybe during fellowship time, you could address that.
I'll be there.
Because that'd be great.
Yeah, we're just about out of time. I do want to mention that, like everybody does have a different, different terrain to travel. We got the same map. I mean, I have this woman that I'm bringing her through the 500 days, and she just won't join the sanctuary to do it in the sanctuary. So I'm doing it with her, and we're on day 30, and she's a perfectionist, and I have to wait for her perfectionism to, and it's okay. This is my assignment, and it's not as dramatic as the drama that yours has, but it's still the same thing. That there's a calling, and you're going to hear it, and you're going to answer it. So, and it's not the you, because the you that you think you are is not who you are. The nature of who you are is a lot closer than the you that you think you are. So that's all that everything is doing. Everything is getting you to know that the nature of who you really are. Anyway, that's the end of session here. I think we went over a minute. Marisol, I'm bringing it back to you.
You've been watching our online gathering. It happens weekly on Sundays at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. To join us live in the sanctuary, visit our website, awakening-together.org. You'll want to click on Online Sanctuary in the main menu, and then in the drop-down menu, look for How to Enter the Sanctuary. Right there at the top of the page is a clickable link. We'd love to see you in the sanctuary and join with you in fellowship. Thank you again for watching. Also, please know that if you'd like to stay connected via the Awakening Together channel here on YouTube, you can subscribe and hit the bell for more notifications. We hope to see you in the sanctuary.